Accountability check-in. How are you today? Sorry, baby's sleeping, and I realized I may have said that a little loudly. I didn't make it to church today. A whole big mom of 7, everybody else got ready, and somehow I didn't manage to get ready in time, so Dad took 6 of the kids and left me and baby home. So I figured I'd take advantage while he's sleeping. How are you today? What are your goals? I decided to actually follow through and get something done more than just my once a week check-in. Oh my gosh, it's Sunday. I have been following several friends on Facebook this week who are making changes in their own lives. I am so proud of so many people for taking it upon themselves to do what they need to do. Trying things that may seem slightly unconventional, but they're trying to see if it works for them. I give props to anybody who does that. I don't really care what method let me rephrase that. I do care what method you try, because there are some that are straight up dangerous. But if there is something that you can do and really give it a go. Okay, best example. A friend of ours has decided to go vegan. I'm not sure if it's at least for a month or if she's just going forward with it, because she has her own serious health issues that she is trying to work through. And at this point, everything's leading towards that being something that could actually help. Now, is there people who oppose to it? Absolutely. Are there people who think it's dangerous? Absolutely. Are there people who live every day a vegan lifestyle and are thriving? Absolutely. Now, I've actually done it before. I had some weird success with it and some weird trials, definitely good and bad, which I told her to. What I didn't know at the time was how incredibly allergic I am to wheat and soy. When you're vegan, soy becomes a big thing for a lot of people. Now, it's not the be-all end-all. There are definitely those who can do without soy too. But a lot of alternative products are made with it. So you really have to just be careful with what you're using and know what your body can and cannot tolerate. But I didn't know that at the time. So I felt better in so many ways, but then I'd eat something and suddenly feel so horrible. Now I know why. So I don't know if a vegan lifestyle would ever be for me again. I personally actually need the protein content. Yep, I know. I've been reading through all the comments on her thread where protein is not something you just get from meat. And I totally understand that. So instead of saying I need the protein content, what I mean to say is, while I desperately need protein in general, I like my meat. I like meat being a source of protein. However, I also know I have to be careful with what I eat for meats, because I can tell which ones my body doesn't process quite the same and struggles with. So there are some differences. So she's taking this leap. It's huge. It's important for her. I also know several other friends who are using some products and different companies and stuff, and they are in love with it. They feel so much different. I don't fault them for using multi-level marketing companies or anything. If that's what works for them, my only problem with those is the predatory type sales that so many people fall into. I have been guilty of it myself in the past, but when it comes to dietary supplements and everything, I have a bigger issue with the sales companies and a lot of the reps. But that doesn't affect anything else. That does not mean that their products don't necessarily work. There are some that are actually very questionable, and the way they market them is a whole other topic for another day. We'll skip it for now. So anyhow, what big things have you done so far? You guys know I have gotten back on track with my diet. I have cut out the wheat, the soy, the corn, the eggs. Still working on the dairy, but actually I've come to the realization in the last week, I've had such amazing weight loss, but now I'm kind of fluctuating. I'm gaining and losing the same couple of pounds. And I think my continued dairy consumption is playing a role in that. And there's a couple other things as well that I'm going to check on and see. But, yeah. And that alone for a diet change is huge. How many of you can say that you can or have cut out those major things completely and successfully? Do you know how many foods those are in? Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. Worse yet is when you live in an area that has such limited selection and ability to buy foods. I have to order so much. Don't you just love it when the TV's on classical music to keep the baby asleep and it gets too loud for your video? So anyhow, I have to order so many different foods, and those I don't order, we make special trips to Costco to get the things we can't get locally. Do you know what that means for us? Our area in the Black Hills, let me rephrase this, western half of South Dakota has such limited access to everything. To get to Costco, we either have to drive to Sioux Falls on the other end of the state, which is 4.5, 5 hours away, or down to Denver, which is over 6 hours away. Well, that one my husband and I debate on how long it takes to get there. But those are the two closest ones. Otherwise, you've got Fargo, North Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska. I actually don't know where the next one's past that would be. But they have such amazing selection and stuff that anytime my husband's traveling for work or a friend might be passing through an area that has one, we stop and get stuff because their prices are amazing, their selection is amazing, and I'm really realizing I'm pointing out how much I miss Costco. And anybody who knows me in person knows I talk about missing Costco. It really played a huge role. But again, this half of the state is so secluded that we don't have a very good selection for much. Yeah, we have grocery stores, but their natural food sections are not what I got used to in other areas. We have natural food co-ops, but I have never seen a sadder selection of produce than I have here when it comes to a natural food co-op. I mean, it looks like it got hit by a truck and then left on the shelf for a month. Maybe I've always gone in at the wrong time, but I've kind of given up even shopping there because our prices are, I won't go there. So anyhow, and there is another natural health food type store, but it's not very big. The selection's not very big. And I found stuff there, but not enough. So anyhow, where I was going with this is the fact that when you are on so many restrictions, you really have to know what you're shopping for and where. Check it on the baby again. And it can play such a huge role. And I know I have really been struggling again the last few days with what I have access to. It makes it difficult. Today I'm going to try to figure out what I'm making for lunch and then for dinner for everybody. And my husband on his way out the door to church said he's just going to pick up pizza for the kids because he knows I'm kind of falling into a rut already. We're 3 weeks into the month. And there's only so many meals I can make that everybody will eat. So I need to break out some cookbooks. So if you guys have any recipes for anything that fits the allergen list, and that's difficult. So if you're not sure, ask. I'll let you know if there's something we can or cannot have in there. But on top of my wheat, soy, corn, and eggs, again, both dairies hit or miss, we have to avoid anything that may even be slightly contaminated by peanuts. 2 of our children have EpiPens because they have severe allergic reactions. Not to tree nuts, not to any other nuts, just peanuts. But the number of things that are made that are contaminated or may contain or processed on shared equipment, our kids can't handle any of it. So we have to be so careful. So anyhow, that's my struggle today. If you have any recipes, share them with me. I'd love to see them. I'd love to try them out. I'm becoming one of those annoying people who take pictures of their food and post it to Instagram. Never thought I'd do that. This is where I'm going. But I'm realizing that when I do that, other people I don't know are liking my photos. And then I go to their pages and I'm seeing the stuff they've made. And it's inspiring me to keep going and to make other things, and that there are options. It can sound intimidating, but it doesn't mean that there's no options. So I hope you all have a blessed day, that you are finding what works for you. And if not, you're trying something new. Share it with us. Share recipes. Maybe we'll start doing recipe Sundays. If anybody participates, that would be awesome. You guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you later.